Disaster movies, for whatever reason, seem to produce some of the weirdest and wildest movies out there that are typically pretty bad. I don't know if it's the absurd over-dramatization of how powerful something like a tornado, earthquake, hurricane, tidal waves, not that one. Get that one out of here. But no matter what the disaster is, I can't help but eat this shit up with a giant spoon. But then there are heist movies, a genre that I believe to typically produce fairly good movies. So what would happen if you combine these two genres of film into one? I'm sorry, I can't. Well, the answer is the 2018 crazy thrill ride that is the Hurricane Heist. The plot of the Hurricane Heist is about as simple as it sounds. There is a really big hurricane and a group of people are attempting a heist during it. From the opening scene, this movie tells you exactly what it's going to be and exactly what you can expect. The movie starts with Hurricane Andrew, a real hurricane that did hit the southern coast in 1992, but in this movie, it's literally destroying everything in its path. This is where we meet Will and Breeze, the two main characters in this movie. And while they're making an escape, their dad says this in order to distract them.
Boys, knock it off. Do something constructive. Why don't you practice your football plays?
But when their truck goes off the road and gets stuck, they take refuge in a nearby house. Then they get to watch as their dad experiences death by water tower, which is a new and creative way to kill a parent in a movie. From here, it sets up the rest of the movie, showing us that Will, the younger brother, is now all grown up and played by Toby Kebbell, trying his absolute hardest to sell us on his Alabama accent. I mean, just listen to the difference between these two sounds coming from the same person.
Yeah, I am home, buddy. I am home.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that vastly removed. You often find that you delve into parts of yourself.
So he's a meteorologist now and back in their hometown in order to get readings on said hurricane. At the same time, a convoy of semi-trucks is bringing in old money to the US Treasury, setting up said heist. The Treasury team is led by Cassie, another one of our lovely main characters, and she is currently being punished because the movie has to have a character with everything to prove so they can make up for a mistake they made in the past. But from the moment you are introduced to every character, they immediately don't act anything like a normal person. There are so many lines said in this movie that are just describing what we are currently watching take place or telling us about the scene we literally just got done watching take place. This movie does not trust you as the audience member to understand what's going on in a movie that is simply about a heist during a hurricane. But my favorite line is when Will and Cassie have a quick exchange, and it's so on the nose that it just cracks me up every time.
This yours? You one of those hurricane chasers?
No, I'm one of those meteorologists. Anybody chases hurricanes got a death wish.
There's something about a movie pointing out how stupid it is, and whether the movie realizes it's doing it or not, it's still so much fun for me. Not once does this movie pause between the insanity to give you a moment to digest or figure out what's going on. Once the heist is kicked off, this movie takes you on one hell of a ride of absurd action and more terrible writing. When the bad guys start the heist, they storm the Treasury building and start taking out the guards one by one. And I gotta say, I always find it funny when a small team of like 4 people can somehow take out an entire team of military personnel with 0 issues. And it's always done the same way too, where once the military peeps are getting attacked, it's revealed that there was an inside man, and it's 9 out of 10 times a traitor. And that is exactly how the Hurricane Heist does it. But they go one step further and manage to do it without killing any of the good guys. So props for a little originality, I guess. But it's the only props you're getting, Hurricane Heist. But after the bad guys take control of the facility, the power conveniently goes out, and the pace decides to pick it up to a breakneck speed. Casey arrives with the other brother, Breeze, who also just so happens to be the repairman that's in charge of fixing the generator. But the funny part is, when Cassie is doing this little tactical clear of the guardhouse, and Breeze is just watching her from the car, he says this.
That's how it's done.
I don't know if the Hurricane Heist meant to or not, but it makes the brothers look really dumb in this movie, especially when compared to Cassie, who seems to be the only person that really knows what they're doing. Because right after he says that line, Breeze gets kidnapped. But to prove my point even more, a little later in the movie, Breeze attempts to escape, and while doing his escape, he decides he's going to try to rescue the soldiers that were also taken hostage. And his great plan is to slowly snip each individual wire while on security camera. He is so dumb, and I love it.
Not a great plan.
Cassie and Will then team up, and the first of many car chases kicks off, resulting in what I believe to be one of the funniest lines in the movie.
I'm tapped.
What?
I'm out of bullets.
Why'd that happen?
I shot them all.
Now, to be fair, the director is best known for making the Fast and Furious, the first one, and the first XXX movie, which explains not only the bad writing, bad CGI, unrealistic characters, but also the over-the-top action. Whether it's the scene of them taking down a satellite tower in the middle of the hurricane, and the hurricane is literally destroying buildings, but for them, it's like a strong breeze. Why is the tower not being destroyed if the buildings are? How are they able to walk so easily when cars are being pushed around by the wind? Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Don't think about it. Don't think about it, okay? Or them flying out of the skylight at a mall and dangling around in the storm for a few minutes, like those guys with the wavy arms at car dealerships. Or even how Breeze shows up with a boat to save Will because half the town is flooded to the point of needing a boat and the other half is fine. Or my favorite, when one of the robbers gets death by hubcap, which is a super new and creative way to kill off your bad guys. Now, there is one thing that really bothers me in this movie. There is a brief moment where you see that Breeze was a Marine because he has a bunch of photos and flags hanging up in his home, and they mention that he went to Afghanistan. But then, his brother later on says this.
What they teach you in the Army? Leave no man behind you, forget that? I was just testing. Nice to see you grow up here since this morning.
This is the most unrealistic thing in this entire movie. A Marine not correcting someone when they say he was in the Army, and as a Marine myself, I can say there is no way that would slide. We all have to draw a line somewhere in movies, and for me, this is the line that I draw. Stupid Army. Where the movie really gets fun is in the final act, when the remaining robbers load the money up on the semis and attempt to escape in the eye of the hurricane. So for reference, the highest winds ever recorded for a hurricane were 215 miles per hour. And the hurricane they're trying to outrun? Oh, just 600 miles per hour? 3 times what's ever been recorded in human history. This thing is disintegrating everything in its path, and it just makes for the perfect threat to tail the semis in just an absolutely absurd ending. Not only does it involve people jumping from semi to semi, but what I believe to be not only some of the best, but also the funniest kills. From guys getting bested by gravity and then thrown out of the truck, to the classic shooting the driver and then he steps on the gas and runs off the road trope. Or the villain's demise, which happens when Will and Breeze start ramming into his truck in order to slow him down so the storm will swallow him up. And to my surprise, that is not how he dies in this movie. Instead, he gets death by semi-trailer landing on your cab and blowing you up, which is another fun and creative way to kill your bad guy. And then the movie just ends. They stopped the bad guys, they lost 2/3 of the money, and the storm just magically vanished. I had the lowest expectations for this movie when I started it, and I honestly gotta say, by the time it was over, I was extremely satisfied. The Hurricane Heist checks every single box. Stupid dialogue that is funny even when it's not supposed to be, over-the-top action that is so stupid and insane you can't help but love it, a plot that makes no sense yet is engaging enough to keep you hooked, bad CGI and weird editing that makes it so hard to watch at times. All of these things make the Hurricane Heist a movie you can turn your brain off and just enjoy the ride, which is why I proudly and confidently put it in so bad it's good. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my video on The Meg, another so bad it's good movie. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below what movie you'd like to see me cover in the future.